Last year, I took a shot at starting out 5-frame nucleus colonies in August. Now, if you've been beekeeping for a while, then you know that this is way too late to be trying to start nucleus colonies in Michigan, but I decided to take a shot at it and see if it'd work. Unfortunately, none of those nucleus colonies ended up making it, as I had a lot of problems with moisture this year when I moved all of my colonies into the woods. But today, I've been going through all of my single deep and double deep hives that I did over winter last year and seeing how the queens did. And in some of those hives, I'm noticing that they're having a very, very small cluster, and that queen is not laying the biggest brood pattern. So the colony, as a result, is pretty weak, and I'm trying to strengthen her. So this is what I'm doing. Hey guys, so I just want to do a quick little video of what I'm doing whenever I go into a colony that is looking very weak this time in the springtime, what I end up doing to help that colony and to strengthen it. So what I'm seeing is with a couple of my queens that I overwintered last year, I'm going in and I'm seeing that they literally only have one frame of bees, and that queen is only laying maybe like 30 eggs because she doesn't have enough bees to take care of them all, so she can't lay any more eggs than that. So she has the smallest little brood pattern and is barely able to lay. I'm afraid she will end up getting robbed out if I do just leave her, but again, she doesn't have enough bees to be able to build up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a newspaper over this colony, and I'm going to combine one of the splits that I did with her and take out their queen cells so that they have a queen, but also then this will give her a chance to be able to build up and truly become the queen she's supposed to be. So let's go get some newspaper. How are you doing today, girly? So hopefully they don't end up killing this queen, because this colony is going to be pretty strong, so they're going to be able to eat through that newspaper pretty quick. They'll probably be through it within 24 hours, so hopefully that's enough time for that queen pheromone to get through and them to accept her. So I guess we'll see what happens. Mama kitty, you're not going to want to be back here. There's a lot of bees and you're probably going to get stung. She's probably looking for a mouse because they always like to live in our hives. So the reason why adding bees to a weak colony with a queen that is not laying very much actually works is because actually it's not the queen that controls how big the colony is, it's the bees themselves. So if there's not enough bees in the colony, they're not going to want that queen to lay more eggs because there's not going to be enough workforce in order to feed that brood. But also there's not going to be that many bees there to be able to push the queen to lay more. Sometimes you'll notice in your hive when you look at your queen that there'll be a bunch of bees around her just kind of like picking at her because they're pushing her to lay more eggs. One of the things that a lot of us get a little bit confused is we think that the queen is in charge, but actually it's all of the worker bees that are in charge of that entire colony. So they tell the queen when she lays, how much she lays, and pretty much calls all the shots. It actually might be a good idea to move that one over here. Well, then they're not gonna well, what do you guys think? What if I move that hive over here? Because we just moved it up here. All of the foragers are gonna go back to this hive and strengthen it, but are they gonna kill that queen when they realize it's not their queen? If they walk into the hive and see the queen, do they then accept her? Or do they still turn on her? I don't know the answer to this, so let's go ask Casey. Hey, so I have a question for you. Okay, so there's a lot of bees going in and out of the hive that I split. What if I take the hive that has like that little tiny cluster of bees and I move it over to where the split hive currently is so the foragers go to it? Or do you think the foragers would kill the queen? Because, like, would they accept her if they walk into the hive and the queen's there? Or are they...
Not, no.
No, they're still going to remember?
Yeah, I would definitely, if you're going to do anything crazy like that, I would just cage her and just make sure that...
I mean, or I can just let the foragers go where they want to go.
Yeah. I mean, either one of those pretty much should work.
Because I feel like the foragers might not matter that much to that hive because of how strong it is, the one that I'm adding to her. So
I would...
Yeah, I'm just going to move it over to her because I think it's the older bees that aren't going to like her. Okay. Huh. Okay, so I guess the plan is I am going to move it over there, put a newspaper, throw her on top of it so that the older bees don't end up going in and killing her, because I don't really want to cage her either. So yeah, let's just plan on that. Oh man. And I'm gonna put this in its place. Add a new nuke that all the foragers can go back to, and I'm gonna give them one empty frame that they can draw out as well. So this actually worked out perfectly because I not only was able to use that split to strengthen this queen, but I was also able to make a split out of it as well with the queen cells that I had found, so that nothing was wasted. So I put a nuke with those queen cells in the place of that old split so that all of the foragers could go back to that nuke and also strengthen it and keep it strong as those queen cells develop and emerge from their cells. I am now putting on the rest of that split on top of this hive over newspaper. And the reason why I'm using newspaper is because this way the bees have to chew through the newspaper before they can actually get to the queen. So by that time, the queen pheromone should have passed through the entire hive so that the hive accepts that queen. Whereas if I were to just throw that box straight on this colony with full access to the queen, it is possible that that could be way too soon and they'd end up balling her and killing her. So this way, like I said, the pheromone can pass through the entire colony and help them adjust to her and accept her. The reason I'm tearing this newspaper is because if you don't, then when it gets wet, it will actually wick moisture into the colony. So fun fact. Whew. And that is that. I have both of these hives over here built up with more bees and more comb. I threw the splits on these as well, just like I did the other one that is over here. And I also went through this hive right here. This queen, I've had her genetic line since I started beekeeping 4 years ago, and she is absolutely kicking butt. You can definitely see that she has adapted to the actual climate here in Michigan. She knows when to build up, she knows when to shut down, because one of the things that I saw in some of these other colonies is they're not quite building up exactly how they should be. Some of them only have maybe like one frame of brood, and then the other ones that I showed you that I had to put the extra splits on, they only had maybe one little tiny circle of brood. So when I went through her, she had already 6 frames of brood, which is phenomenal. So definitely excited to see how she goes. Going to be grafting off of her because her genetic line has truly adapted to our Michigan winters. And then the last one over here, I ended up throwing her in a double stacked nuke. She wasn't quite as bad off as the ones that I had to throw extra splits on, but she was still not quite as built up as I would like her. So I condensed her down to a nuke so that it's easier for her to stay in the center and just kind of work the frames up and down instead of having to work an entire 10 frame deep. So still lots to do, but thank you guys for following along, and I'll see you guys soon.
They're in grub form now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, they should be. Are they capped? Yeah, they're capped.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.